Welcome to Alpha Book Club. Hopefully, if you are of age and like to drink wine, you have some wine with you. Otherwise, maybe a juice box. This is our online interactive book club for all of our Alpha community members, as well as for this month only, our YouTube fans for Nerdist. Welcome, you guys. Thanks so much for joining us. We've had such a great time. I'm Rachel Heine, if you don't know me, and joining me as always is Maude Garrett.
Hi.
And Hector Navarro.
Charmed.
You guys didn't notice, so I'll just say it now. I brought my pebble.
Sorry, headphone users. I screamed.
Oh my god, I did too.
But that is amazing. I did.
Purple towel as well.
What's the significance of purple?
It was I don't know, Most Def's. He had a purple towel.
He had a purple
did.
towel.
He had a purple towel.
I love Mos Def in this book.
Well, we're talking about the movie.
Yes, today we will be talking about the movie. So if you're just joining us, you can catch up on all of the episodes for this month on the Nerdist YouTube. We've been reading Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. We're on our final portion of the month, but we also have a very important Twitter poll going on right now. This is to choose our next book.
Yeah.
And we have some feelings about this poll.
Sorry, guys, I spoke out of line. It was very interesting to see what our audience would be interested in. And, you know, during this political climate that we're currently swimming in, because it's just a downpour, I suggested 1984, mainly for people that hadn't read it to kind of like understand some of the strong themes in the book.
I've never read it. I can't wait.
Read it?
Oh, really?
It would be so great to read.
I studied it in high school, and I was just like, I hate everything I'm forced to read. So I'd like to come back at it, you know, obviously a little bit older,
Just like
wiser.
a couple months.
Yeah. I remember it. It was just the other day. But
Yeah, again, stop drinking.
All right.
Really cool of your parents to let you come on the show, Maude, but you need to stop with that.
but what I completely forgot was how cool the Golden Compass is,
Yes.
and that is up.
It's up to,
put that on a
so
poll?
the,
And what apparently everybody else forgot
okay.
is how cool Han Solo is, you guys.
Oh, you brought it.
Yes, I brought it.
Hector's upset, y'all.
Han Solo. The
So-
Paradise Snare. Han Solo Trilogy, Book 1. Paradise Snare.
We would be, I think all three of us would be thrilled to read any one of these
That
books.
is true. Really
Agreed.
true.
So
Agreed.
it doesn't really matter, but it's always interesting to see, like this, for example, this month, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy won by almost 50%, and right now 1984 is in the lead. We're also voting between that, The Golden Compass, and part 1 of the Legends Continuity Han Solo Trilogy book, The Paradise Snare, which you guys can vote now. We're going to tell you what won for next month at the end of this show. So make sure you vote, share it out, get people to vote for Han Solo because it might not win, but we can get it back up.
To vote for that
There a
one,
little bit. We can get it back up.
to vote for that one, all you have to do is jump onto the Alpha
Yes.
Twitter, and the handle for that is Project Alpha.
Yes, join Team Alpha.
Join Team Alpha.
ProjectAlpha.com.
That'll always be a problem
Our
for me.
pal Lost the Numbers has the link in the YouTube chat, and I think we have the link in the Alpha chat as well. So make sure you guys
Yeah.
vote. But for now, we're going to
Join
wrap up
Team Alpha.
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. So,
Awesome.
would one of you like to catch us up on how far we've come?
That's
and how
you,
far we
Hector.
still have
That's
to
Yeah.
so cool that you volunteered.
So Arthur Dent is a regular tall British man who is probably much more awesome than he thinks. He's like down on himself. His house is about to get demolished at the very beginning, and Douglas Adams writes just the most fantastical, irreverent yarn. And we go on this zany, kooky adventure in space.
That's a pull quote for the book right
I'm
there.
trying. And Arthur Dent gets, I guess, abducted by his friend Ford Prefect, who is, of course, played by Mos Def in the book.
The most
Super
miscast
British.
character I've ever met in my life.
Yeah.
Pretty miscast.
Oh
Pretty
my
miscast.
god,
Like,
that's just insane.
I love Mos
pretty
Def,
miscast. Of course.
but wrong.
Mos Def.
Most definitely not, you know.
So the Earth gets destroyed by a clerical accident. A race of aliens called the Vogons. Vogons? Is there an L in there?
Vogons?
Vogons. The
Bygones
Vogons.
be
Sorry.
Vogons.
I said I wasn't going to do a
Let Vogons be Vogons. I agree. So the Earth is destroyed. Arthur Dent gets wrapped up in this kooky, zany adventure with Ford Prefect, who runs into their friend Zaphod Beeblebrox, who is the president of the galaxy.
Duh.
A female character named Trillian, who we find out later is from Earth, and she just like picked a cool spacey name.
Yep.
I forget her real name. What is it?
Trisha.
Trisha, I think. And then, of course, maybe the best character in the whole book, Marvin, the depressed robot.
Yes.
Yeah.
The paranoid android, if you will. Nicely done, Radiohead. Nicely done. We don't have the rights to sing that. The ship, we can get the rights from Radiohead. I don't know about that.
Hey, Tom. Hi,
Yeah.
long time. It's Maude with an E.
Yeah. Oh, it's me. It's Tom York. Sure, you can have the rights to the song. Okay.
And done. We're
And we
set.
got it.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's something about the improbability drive. It's just on the ship. It makes impossible things happen. They go to a planet called Magrathea. Magrathea.
Yep.
Yes.
Thank you.
Magrathea.
They find that Magrathea is a planet where they build other planets, and a side next door to us universe or reality, like a parallel universe, another dimension, I should say, has these characters that have been trying to answer the question to life, the universe, everything.
Yes.
And so they build a supercomputer called Deep Thought,
Yes.
and it takes 7.5 million years. And
They got the answer.
They got the answer, which was 42. And that's where we left off at the end of our last section. And we're learning
Perfect.
how all of these things are going to come together, and the Earth is still destroyed.
Yeah.
And that's it.
That's awesome. That was
Yes,
such a,
really
that
well
was
done.
Way
Great.
better than I would have done.
Yes.
Before we dive into the last section of the book, part of the awesome thing about having this book club means that we get to hear from the other club members. You guys are a part of this. So whether that's through Twitter, chat right here, Skype, like our guest today, you guys get to come in and chat with us and actually participate in the discussion. So right now, we're gonna buckle up earbuds in.
I'm already good to go.
Oh,
person
you're
has
already
my
good to
dad's
go.
name.
I'm so bad at these. Like,
Papa
it's
Bear.
embarrassing. It's really bad. Okay, joining now from our Alpha community.
Are you there, Andrew? Andrew Brown.
Andrew Brown, come on in. What are you doing? I
Well, it's
can't.
not on.
Andrew, hey, bud.
Andrew,
How's it going?
Hey. I'm gonna hold
Hi.
it like I'm a spy.
Wow. Yeah.
I'm like doing a walkie-talkie as well.
You guys would be terrible
Wow.
spies. I would be a bad spy too. I'd be real bad. Andrew, thanks so much
Oh my
for
gosh.
Skyping into us, bud. This is awesome.
Yeah, thanks
Apparently,
for
you're
having
you're a massive Douglas Adams super fan.
A bit, yeah.
What does that mean? Does that mean that you have read every single thing he's ever written and anything that's been related to him? What does that mean that you're a Douglas Adams super fan?
Sort of. So I picked
He's
up a
like,
bunch of the
"What?"
books way back when. I got the Ultimate Edition, the same one that Rachel has.
Yes.
Nice.
Whoa, look
Ooh.
at that. Yours looks like a textbook.
Yeah, that was in 2001 or something like that. And
Yeah.
I've just been kind of obsessive over it and been watching listening to all the radio shows. So that was really where I spent most of my attention.
Awesome. When did you first get into Hitchhiker's Guide? How old were you?
So I was actually gifted a very nice copy of the
man.
more than complete Hitchhiker's Guide.
Wow.
Very nice.
With like the satin
Oh,
Yeah, I
Bookmark
think
at the
I
bottom.
like
And this
stared
sat
at
on
that
my
in
shelf
bookstores when I was younger.
from when I was about 9 years old until college when I realized what it was.
got it.
Whoa, cool.
I couldn't read that at 9 years of age, though.
It's very daunting. But it's
So
beautiful.
my uncle gave it to me just as a birthday present, and
It's awesome.
I
Was your-
didn't realize what it was.
Was your uncle a fan, or was it just like, he'll probably like this, or was he trying to pass on Douglas Adams to you?
My uncle was trying to get me into Douglas Adams, yeah.
So how many times have you seen the movie?
Probably only about 2 or 3.
Right. It's not one to watch when you're hungover. It's not one. They're the Vogans that look like a giant booger.
Okay, gotcha, sure.
And it's not one to watch when you're at all distracted. I think I looked at my phone to check the time. I came back, I was lost. I had to rewind. Is
Were
that fair?
you? Yeah. Were you? I can't hear anything. Were you? When you watched it, did you instinctively dislike it, like many other Douglas Adams fans I know did, or did you give it more of a shot?
So I think probably because I read the book and listened to the radio series a lot, gave it more of a chance because I knew it was a different medium.
Sure.
And so they would give it completely different, like Douglas would give it completely different jokes. You know, in a movie, it's all visual. In text form, in the books, he just can expound on something for a long time. Whereas in the radio show, everything has to be really fast. And, if you listen to it, half of the dialogue is practically overrunning each other.
That's how British people talk, though.
It's true.
Yeah. They cut
Absolutely.
people off.
Yeah, not
All
not
the
in a
time,
not
like
in a
all the
bad way,
time.
but just
They'll
like
speak
that's-
over people
yeah,
as well.
Absolutely.
That's what
just-
happens.
that's
It's not
just the
even like they
humor.
don't mean to do
That's
it.
the humor, yeah. Yeah. And Australians have picked up on a lot of that, which is crazy.
Yes.
A question for you, Mr. Brown. For your money, what's the best adaptation of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy?
The original.
Yeah.
So I haven't actually seen the TV show either.
I haven't yet either. I
Yeah,
didn't
I
get a chance to.
I think it's on YouTube.
Somebody sent me the DVD. It might be on YouTube, but there was somebody in the YouTube chat earlier saying, I didn't even know this was a book. But technically, the radio show was the BBC radio show, correct, Andrew, was the first iteration of whatever this is, and then Douglas Adams wrote the book afterwards.
So by that and Douglas Adams's technique, the radio version was different to the book.
Correct.
Which is different to the movie.
Yes.
I didn't know how I thought I was going to feel about that, and then I watched the movie again today, and I was like, wait a sec, the middle of this movie is not what I just read. And then I realized I loved it because of the magic C word, canon. It's all canon.
That's the C word, okay.
Yes, and so
It's
it
all-
almost felt like it was episodic, and
I
with
got
the
a laugh from backstage.
Okay, okay. All right, calm down, guys.
I knew what I was. I'm the one that's not afraid to say it, but apparently in America.
Yeah, it's much worse than
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
you
there you
think
go.
in America.
So anyway, I digress. What I wanted to say was, are you familiar with Doctor Who? Because for me, this almost felt like it was episodic in the way that different things were happening, like it could have been a different episode. Same, but different.
Yeah.
Let me say
so
different one
I,
more time.
I actually came into Doctor Who when my daughter was born in 2012. So this is like, it was. I waited too long, I think. But
Yeah.
at the same time, I was able to, since BBC was running all this every single day.
Yeah.
And on Wednesday it was like half the day, so I would binge watch just whole seasons, and it was crazy.
That's awesome.
I'll get there soon.
That's great.
I'm gonna do it.
We'll talk about it after.
Okay.
They're great.
Okay, great.
Do you think that you will introduce this book to your daughter at 9? What age do you think is actually the right time to?
Great question.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, I don't know. Whenever she's interested. I mean, I don't want to force it on her, and then she'll just be like, this is weird. But
Dad.
at the same time, I always run random jokes and stuff like that, and half of them are some Douglas Adams joke, whether it be Hitchhikers or Dirk Gently, or any of those.
So you must seem really, really funny to your daughter. She probably thinks you're like super hilarious. And you're
Yeah,
just
she's 4 right now, so yes.
and you're just stealing all those jokes. I love it. That's great. Would you ever read Douglas Adams to her like a storybook?
I did when she was about a month old.
That's awesome.
But nothing matters. It's just, just getting her to hear words is the important part at that age.
There's an improbable chance that she actually remembers the entire book, though.
Improbable.
It's not impossible. It's improbable.
So we're going to discuss the movie in a little bit more detail, but one of the things that we've kind of, I think, all agree on, even though we love Mos Def, is that he's miscast in this.
Yeah.
Who would you cast as Ford?
Or any of the characters.
Yeah, that's
Or
true.
prefect.
I'm not sure that I have anybody really in mind for any of the parts. I just Jeffrey. I can't remember his name now. That's
Jeffrey
terrible.
Tambor.
Jeffrey Tambor, yeah?
Rush. Jeffrey.
No, I'm sorry. Who the guy who was in the original radio series? It's just I've seen their
you were
pictures.
here.
Yep.
It gets printed onto that no matter what I do.
Absolutely. Cool.
does.
Thanks so much for chatting in with us. Hopefully
Andrew.
you've enjoyed
Which is my dad's
us
name.
going through this as well.
To business.
Yay,
Ah,
to business!
To business. Cheers to you, Andrew. Thanks so much
And
for
make sure
coming,
you
bud.
impart your geekdom onto your daughter, because if she's anything like me, she'll thank you for the rest of her life and get a PB tattoo, which stands for Papa Bear.
What? Really?
Yeah.
Cool.
Because my dad, made me a geek.
All right.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
All right, thank you.
Didn't mean to get soppy.
That was really cute. No,
so
I'm really
sweet.
thankful for my
Thank you.
parents for reading with me when I was younger. I think that had a lot to do with me getting into reading
Yeah.
at a young age. Just because someone said in the chat, yes, I did get a tattoo.
Yes.
Oh, look
Just
at
as
that.
an aside.
Lady Moon.
Yeah.
First tattoo, right?
My first
Talk us through it.
tattoo.
How much did it hurt?
It hurt a fair amount, but it was over pretty quickly, and it wasn't like
Have you got
Super
any?
painful.
You're
No,
clean
not yet.
skin. Yeah. Don't say you don't have no
I'm
pressure.
not against it, I just have never decided on
thank
what it
you.
would be.
Yeah.
I don't know if it would be something like a little tattoo of, I don't know why I went to the exact spot. Like, oh, Papa Bear.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if
all
I
the
would. I don't know
rage.
where I would put it, and I don't know if it would be like the Iron Giant's head.
Oh, you do
or
love
like,
the Iron
or like,
Giant.
like Homer Simpson's head. I just love Homer Simpson.
I've
Yeah.
seen, a friend of mine has a Marge down his
Marge?
arm, and it's just fantastic.
Oh, that would be great.
Yeah.
Something Spider-Man. Something
can
like
barely
I
see it.
don't know. I couldn't decide.
So
but-
I'm thinking already, of course, of the
That's
second
what I
one I
did.
want to
That's what I
get. But
did.
I've known about this one for a while, but it's bigger and it would have color. So I didn't want to get that first.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to kind of start small and
Work your
outline,
way up.
but I want to do like a sailor style of the rose. We were talking about this earlier, the rose from Beauty and the Beast
I love it.
in the
That's a
jar,
great one.
in the bell.
I love it. Like
That's
that.
amazing.
Yeah.
Right in front of us right here.
Exactly. So, all right, let's get into the final part of the book. Again, for everyone who's just joining us, keep voting. We're picking our book for next month. Right now, the link's in the chat. If you haven't read Subliminal Messaging, courtesy of 1984, and if you haven't read all the way through, but you still want to catch up with us, you can still watch this episode, but we also have the previous episodes on YouTube. This is the last month that we're going to be on YouTube, and we're so grateful for everyone who watched this on the YouTube. If you want to continue watching with us, you can go to projectalpha.com and join along with us. So the answer to the question is 42,
Yes.
but we don't know the question.
Right.
What's the question?
Got to
They
start
didn't say that.
properly, which is what they figured out. They came in too broad,
Yeah.
too vague.
Yep.
They asked like 3 different things. I've been to a psychic. I know what they say. No, stop, sweetheart. Okay, no. I need you to be clear with me, okay? You can't be vague. What is love? Like, baby, don't hurt me. I had a knife in my hand.
I like this character. What's her name?
Yep.
You got to know what you're asking to actually not be disappointed by said answer
Sure.
or have more of a clarity with the answer.
Yeah, so then we see that Deep Thought says, and we already know, there's a lot of foreshadowing in this book. There's a lot of asides, there's a lot of they totally stop what they're doing and go to the next thing and come back to it, running around all over the place. But they decide to
Space,
build.
it can't be linear.
You can't, space and time. Time is but a human construct, really, which is also in Doctor Who. But it's no shame. I didn't watch it till like 2 years ago, so
Yeah,
I
I'm
was
ready.
behind.
I'm ready. It's just a big dive.
But deep thought. I keep wanting to say. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
From all the President's Men, of course.
I don't know what you're talking about. Now
yes.
you have to tell me, even if it's inappropriate. Deep what?
Throat.
Oh!
I can't be the only one who's been
Not
thinking that
once.
this entire time.
I'm supposed to be the slutty one.
That moment it has been gift. All right, great.
Sorry
Great.
about headphone users. I don't mean to squawk.
we have
Deep
fun.
thought.
But Deep Thought builds another supercomputer that can figure out what the question is. It's so complex that it requires organic life and will take
10
10 million
million
years.
years.
And that is Earth.
That's pretty great. I love that moment.
Yeah.
I love that moment. And the thing about the last section of this book is I haven't felt this as much so far with doing this whole show. We've read Wrinkle in Time. We've read, guys help me out, I've had some wine. We've
Dark
read
Tower?
Dark
Dark
Tower.
Tower.
All of those are the beginnings of a series of books.
I know we have done this a lot.
We've done this a lot. However,
How
I
did
have
we do that?
I have yet to feel kind of real dissatisfaction with the ending of a story and wanting to pick up the second one because I felt like it was incomplete more than with the ending of Hitchhiker's Guide.
I feel like a big thing about him, especially Douglas Adams' writing, like we know how quickly we got through this. It was only
Yes.
9 chapters when before it was like, take 2 days off of work every week to kind of catch up to read it all. What I love about Douglas Adams is that less is more.
Yeah.
He uses less words to tell more. But what happens when you don't use as many words is that they end up being holes. And I felt the same way. And it wasn't that there was dissatisfaction, and it was this quirkiness of his writing. But I was like, nope, more. I need more. You haven't given me enough.
Yeah, it's nothing against the book. I think it's so fantastic that I almost wish I had Rachel's version, which had all of the, which is just had the second one, which the restaurant at the end of the galaxy. I'm like,
right
because
next
that's like
to
the
it.
last line in the story.
And it was so nonchalant.
It was so nonchalant,
I'm a bit
like,
hungry. Let's
okay.
go.
And then coming off of, and I think that when they adapted it into the 2005 film, I think they knew that people would have a problem if they just did that first story with the assumption that they would do sequels, because you can't make a movie like that. It's such a huge endeavor. You can't make a movie and go, oh, we'll get to it in the sequel, because then you end up with Galactus Pooh Cloud and Fantastic Four Rise of the Silver Surfer. You just can't do that. Sometimes you have to put all of your eggs in one basket. So I think that the way that they
I can't believe I'm going
wrapped
to say
up,
this, but The Force Awakens is a very big culprit of that.
it is. It's a culprit of that, but that's an interesting thing, because it's like,
That's why I didn't
There-
get a Star Wars tattoo. Ooh,
it's really.
yeah, I mean, imagine if I got one before that. Can you imagine?
Oh,
I'd be
yeah.
like, oh, The Force
But-
Awakens on my.
But I really-
That's like, I think that's the exception to the rule, because they were gonna make another story. Like, that's such a massive thing.
And I do feel like that's in the DNA of Star Wars.
It was a trilogy. It was
can
always
be.
going to be a trilogy,
Right.
and I understand
So
that they're
we-
telling
we-
the start of a story.
We get to Hitchhiker's Guide, which is the adaptation of the beginning of Douglas Adams' series of stories, but really it's also like its own story, this first book. And I think that when they made the film, it was way more of a risk than something like a Star, where they're like, we don't know if we're going to make a sequel. So they wrapped up the story where they had the Magrathea build another Earth.
Yes.
And having seen the film, I was waiting for that to happen in this story, and it didn't. So I'm kind of like, oh, the Earth is still destroyed. So it's just Arthur and Trillian are the last humans,
There's
and
just
that's depressing.
fjords.
There's just
fjords in
That's it.
Africa.
I was waiting for the fjords to have this weird shaped continent now that's just fjords. So that was a little bit, again, it's not necessarily like, oh, this is a bad book, but it's a dissatisfaction of, I wish I had part 2 more than any of the other books we read that are the beginnings of series, which are really
Wrinkle in
promising
Time
and
for me.
interesting.
Dark Tower for me.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
But
Dark
see, like, I was
Tower,
better
too.
with Wrinkle in Time, and I was better with Dark Tower. But I
Yeah.
still want to read part 2 of those stories. Like, I still want to get the second book in the
For
series.
you, and I think too. Well, Wrinkle in Time was a quick read,
Yes.
but Dark Tower. When I finished that, the idea of going to the next one was
a little arduous,
wee
yeah.
bit daunting.
Sure.
Yeah.
Whereas this one is so quick, and there is a lot packed into it. You're
Yes.
right.
Yeah.
So like efficiency of the language, and how many asides there are in this story. But I'm curious to know what. So basically, we learned that these interdimensional beings are the mice.
Yes.
That they've been watching this experiment go on
So
Earth.
great.
5 minutes before they're about to figure, I mean, right? Literally 5 minutes before or just before they're about to find out the answer
Yes,
or
Vogons
the
blow it up.
question.
Yep.
The Vogons blow it up.
Yep.
So they find
It was a
out.
malicious attack.
Yes.
And I think we should all actually unite together and destroy the Vogons. I think it should be
What
we should
is
take it
your
to
problem
war.
with the Vogons?
They're poetry.
Okay, good point. Good point. Guys, real quick, could you just scroll up a little second? How do you pronounce those names of these?
Lunqual and
So you had,
don't
you had
foosh
more-
with me.
You had more of a whisper thing. That's pretty good. I was gonna go more like fooshk.
It's a very guttural language.
Fooshka.
Yeah. Fooshka.
Don't fooshka.
Hell, I think it's Lunqual and Fooshka. Yeah, that's right. That's how I would pronounce it.
Oh my goodness. Say it again.
Again, one more time.
Yeah, one more.
I think the name of them little mouse characters is Lunqual and Fooshka.
Fushka sounds. It's
Fushka.
definitely like when you sit on a couch too fast.
Fushka.
Yeah. And
Point.
funnily enough, the characters in the movie became couches for a moment of time. So
That's true.
That's a little segue.
We had such great comments in the alpha chat. I think it was Bucky618 saying, I had no idea that this was a series, and this read went by so quickly, and now I need to read the others, which is
Yes.
really cool.
That's
Which
it.
really
It is a fun, quick read.
Yeah.
It's like the guy that you call back. You know, it's a good, fun time. I'm sorry.
Okay. I didn't expect that analogy. My mistake.
I don't.
All right.
You're not wrong.
You're not wrong.
I think that's
called it
really
that.
fair.
I was gonna say it was like I almost wish that I had like read this on a plane, on like a flight back from like the East
yeah,
Coast or
it'd be
something,
super quick.
because it would be super quick but super satisfying, and
Yeah.
I'd call the guy back.
Yeah.
Both of those.
See how
yeah,
it makes
Yeah.
more sense the more you think
no,
about it.
that's I like
It's a
yours.
great analogy, but it's also, so we find out that this experiment was destroyed basically, and they want to remove poor Arthur's brain
Yeah.
to get the question, because these two mice are set to debut on a talk show in their home dimension, and
Ridiculous.
they've got
That
all
was.
these deals
That
getting
was.
set up, and I love I think it's Zaphod says, well, we'll just, they can just replace it with a computer. All
Yeah.
it needs to say is like, oh my, I need
Yeah,
some
that
tea,
was
and I'm
great.
And
confused.
what?
And
That
I
was
like,
such good
"What?"
shape. And he was like, what? And he's like, see what I mean?
Yeah, and it was great. And I think we get this backstory. We get sort of an answer to the question that I feel like is posed by the Earth being destroyed, which is, what does it all mean? And it both means everything and nothing at the same time. Everything is random and nothing is random.
Yeah.
Everything matters and nothing matters. And that comes to a T at the end where it's like, mice are trying to remove your brain so that they can go on a talk show. Like, that's not only the most absurd, but also the most selfish, tone-deaf, asinine way to view something that could help the entire universe if you understood that.
Well, reputation, I feel like, is a really valid.
It started wars.
Yes, it's definitely proved to be a worthy goal through history. But we also learn, and I like that they plant these seeds, because it does feel like it's over too soon. But it does tell a complete story thematically, I feel like, a little bit.
Okay, sure. I like
but
where you put that.
But it plants the seeds of the former president, Uden Vranks, and how Zaphod Beeblebrox fused part of his brain together to make certain parts of his memory inaccessible to him. And we learn that there's this sort of possibly nefarious plot about why they wanted to get this answer. Why did they want the improbability drive in the heart of gold? Was it to get... And they wanted to go to this planet. He had this singular drive to get there. We don't know why that is. And so that's planting kind of a fun seed that feels like an episode. This feels like a TV show. That was an episode or a season of a TV show.
Or a season, sure.
Zaphod, it was really fun knowing that he's just a puppet. Like, he's someone else who is smarter, because he does this great thing where you don't know if he's brilliant or if he's stupid, or if he's brilliantly stupid or stupidly brilliant. And so for him to kind of be like, I need to do this. I don't know why. I just feel like we should.
Yeah.
And knowing that he's got two heads now. And I think they explain it better in the movie. And I thought it was side to side when I was reading the book. Now, like the flip up thing.
I like the flip up thing.
Oh, it's incredible.
I like
it. Just adds to his character so much.
Because I know that it's a budget thing.
He's great.
I know that it's a budget thing, but it's also a thing of like how, because he like gets they explain it a way where he gets a second head attached later. So in the
it was like fashionable, wasn't it? Or was the arm
fashionable?
fashionable?
It was fashionable because when he meets Trillian, the human Earth woman, he conceivably doesn't have two heads because obviously, right? So so he needed to have one head when he met Trillian.
But it was a ploy. I thought it was a ploy to be charismatic in the running to be president of the galaxy.
To get two heads.
Yeah, two heads was like
possibly. But I just really like, because the two heads where it's just
snaps.
like, it's like the pod racer announcer from Star
Oh
Wars.
my God, yeah.
That's the most common way to think of two heads.
Wizard.
One of them's Greg Proops. Listen,
I was
or Men in Black 2.
I just went
Sure.
to his podcast last
Did you
week.
really?
Yeah,
Greg Proops is the best. I'm not talking about
the smartest
that.
man in the world.
But I'm saying that
the
it's
name
such
of
a
this
common
podcast.
way to do an alien, but with the two head flipping up thing,
Yeah.
I thought was a really clever way, and and I'm like, that's also a budgetary thing. I could tell.
But it was done in such a way that you didn't care.
Exactly.
Yeah, because you
It's
can,
great.
and it
with his third arm, and
it's got the sort of practical effect of, he's got this prosthetic behind him.
Oh, I just loved every bit of it.
Yeah, I think
Baby doll.
Baby doll. Yeah, he was great.
Great.
He's great. I can't not see Martin
Freeman.
Freeman.
Yep.
Thank you. I was like, Sheen? No, not the president. I can't not see him in this character anymore.
Which I think is fascinating. When I first read this, I was like, no, I see Ford Prefect as Martin Freeman for that reason, because the description he had gingery hair and it was a bit shorter and white. And I was like, wait a second, why have we got tall brunette Martin Freeman, which doesn't exist? That's not him at all. Anyway.
Well, and he's also, that actually plays for me, because in Fargo season 1, he's got this very devious, like, vibe to him where he seems harmless, but he's actually not.
If you haven't seen that, definitely watch
I
it.
haven't yet. I can't wait.
Especially after watching Making a Murderer.
Cool.
That back to back was some sensational viewing.
Yep, absolutely. Richard Lee in the chat says, is that Maude? It is Maude. If you're just joining us.
Richard!
Maude,
Hi.
Hector, Rachel, this is a book club. We're talking about Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy right now.
Yes.
So
And the moderator says that's the brightest jacket I've ever seen. It's just a t-shirt. It's a black t-shirt is what I'm wearing.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm wearing.
Ooh, we're having some
With a
debate
batarang.
About what?
in the chat about our book choices for next month. And this is a totally fair point. Danny Girl 62473 says, why 1984? I get that it may be the times, but book club is supposed to be fun. That is a fair point.
But then
My counter argument was we actually do have wine on the show now, so
we might need an extra bottle for 1984. And I find it funny because I think in one of the first months we had 1984 and at a different point The Handmaid's Tale
Sure.
on like our list.
Both super sad, depressing,
yeah.
potential future,
Yeah.
dystopia
we'll cover
things.
different
it's-
themes then.
Yeah, we'll talk about different stuff, and if you haven't watched any of the previous episodes, you can catch up on Project Alpha as well.com. But we did Wrinkle in Time, Haunting of Hill House. We still haven't done high fantasy, and I
Oh
we
my
really
God,
I
that's
know
my
we need
jam.
to
I
do
want to
some
get
high
you guys
fantasy.
into the world.
I'm ready.
Gunslinger.
Isn't Gunslinger kind of high fantasy?
I mean, there's guns,
I mean, it's
so
like concept
it's not a
fantasy.
sword, is it?
Yeah, there's no like.
But was it a
elves
gun,
in
though?
it.
Kind of yelling, huh?
Yeah. You don't have to yell at me, Maude. No, it's not a sword, but it's also like a magical gun. Like, it's a fantasy world. Okay? Yes. Sure.
Yeah.
Java
Okay,
Book
yeah.
Geek Girl says, I guarantee the host will manage to be entertaining and have fun while also discussing something serious. That is so
Aw,
nice.
that's
Speaking of
lovely.
something serious, Slarty Bartfast.
Yeah, Slarty
Slarty
Bartfast.
Bartfast.
I love Bill Nye. Well, no, that's not his name, is
Oh,
it?
Bill Nye.
Bill Nighy, the science guy.
Yeah,
here,
no, I got it wrong. Who am I thinking of?
Bill
That's him.
Nighy. The
plays Slarty
sci. Thank you.
No.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's Bill Nighy.
Nighy.
Bill
And
Nighy.
That's him in the movie.
The
Nighy.
science
He has
guy.
the long hair.
Yes.
Hold on. They're two different people.
Yeah. Yes, they are.
Bill Nye. Yeah.
Which one's Science Guy?
Bill
Bill
Nye.
Nye. And which one's
The science guy.
Which one's the octopus face in Pirates of the Caribbean? Bill
That's
Nighy.
that's the credit you go for.
Yeah,
for
because-
Bill Nye.
because he
Not,
crushed it.
Not.
Yeah,
Kids, don't buy drugs. Become a rock star and you'll get them for free.
But he's my favorite.
It's love, actually.
Love, actually.
It's love, actually.
He's been in everything. He's been
yeah.
in Hot
Great.
Fuzz.
Have you seen
Yes.
the British thing? He's in that.
Yeah.
Yes, that's true.
Nice.
He's excellent. I love Slarty Bartfast, not just because he gave us a great moment last week, but
Oh,
because
me saying, what did I say? I had to flush it twice or something?
yeah, it was great.
What? What book was that?
Slarty Bartfast is the kind of thing where you hear it, you feel like you have to flush it twice.
Sure. Ugh.
We did it again. I did that on
Good.
purpose. But
Is that what I said? I can't even recall.
I love him because he's so dry and just could be this very. It could be all exposition. He's telling him a lot of these things that we need to know, but because again with the writing, you get this humor in everything that's happening, and he the whole time I just love this detail that he designed the fjords in Norway, and so he's building Earth 2 for the mice.
He won an award for that.
Yes, he did.
it's
And
been
when
around.
he, oh God, I
Only when
wonder
it
if
became
I can-
fashionable. Because he's been doing that his whole life.
While you look for the passage,
Yes.
my favorite thing is when he's like, straight away Arthur's like, what's your name? He's like, names aren't important. Or, like dusts under the rug. And he's like, why, what's your name? And he's like, Dent, Arthur Dent. And he's like, well, Dent, Arthur Dent.
Dent. I love that. That's always a great joke.
So when they all come back together, and Arthur is introduced to the mice, they said, "Oh, thank you, Slarty Bartfast," said Benji Mouse sharply. "You may go." "What?" Very well," said the old man, slightly taken aback. "I'll just go and get on with some of my fjords then." "Ah, well, in fact, that won't be necessary," said Frankie Mouse. "It looks very much as if we won't be needing the new Earth any longer." He swiveled his pink little eyes. "Not now that we have found a native of the planet who was there seconds before it was destroyed." "What?" cried Slarty Bartfast, aghast. "You can't mean that. I've got 1,000 glaciers poised and ready to roll over Africa." "Well, perhaps you can take a quick skiing holiday before you dismantle them," said Frankie acidly. "Skiing holiday?" cried the old man. "Those glaciers are works of art. Elegantly sculpted contours, soaring pinnacles of ice, deep majestic ravines. It would be sacrilege to go skiing on high art." It's just like so sad that he's just
worked so hard.
sculpting. I mean, think about Norway. Norway is beautiful.
I've never
Gorgeous.
been.
Gorgeous.
If someone designed that, they should win an award. Come
Absolutely.
on. Come on.
Absolutely.
I love him.
Yeah, well done, God, or Slarty Bartfast. Well done.
No, it's science.
Science, Slarty
Obviously,
Bartfast.
they kind of detract to any kind of evidential existence of God.
Yeah.
Wasn't there a planet solar system in the movie that was birthed from a sneeze?
Yes.
Yes, there was, of course, yeah.
And there's the
And
sort
they
of
fear the giant handkerchief.
But isn't, in a way, Douglas Adams God?
I'm gonna need a moment.
I mean, we saw his head right at the end of the movie. That was one of the last images we saw was his head in space.
That's the movie though.
That's the movie, though.
I just want to, real quick in the YouTube chat, Richard Lee says, I recommend Robert A. Heinlein for sci-fi. Yes, we had Stranger in a Strange Land on the list at one point. We're gonna read it.
Cool.
It's one of my favorite books. We can all learn to grok, and then we will all be more peaceful, happy human beings.
I love it. Also, guys, at the end of March, what's coming up next month? March is the month?
Yes.
At the end of Smart.
At the end of March,
I
we're
like
also gonna be it's the 13th month. We're also gonna be reading a comic book at the end of March,
Yes.
which is really, really exciting. So if you guys are not already subscribed and you
good.
want to be a member of the Alpha Book Club, but then also read a comic book in the last week of March because we get an extra mutant week, then come and do it because some of the options might be like Old Man Logan, Saga,
I'm
Lock and Key.
petitioning to know about Nightwing's girlfriend because I feel very threatened all of a sudden. It's fine.
Don't worry.
Sean.
Don't worry about it.
Sean.
That's
Only one
never
girl
gonna
can have a bad name
Sandman
around
could
here.
be
And
a
that's
good one.
Which
Get
one?
Sandman. 'Cause
Sandman
it's
would
so
be really
amazing.
messed up.
no, I've just missed it because people are chatting in the Alpha one. But
Yeah.
excuse man, sorry about that. I will make sure the magicians get on the list someday. I am
Ooh, yes.
so down for that, which is like
Cool.
a sexy Narnia meets Harry Potter.
Ooh.
Well, if it's anything
Sold.
like the television show, which I can't get enough of.
I know, I need to catch up on that.
That's how I sell it to all my friends. I'm like, it's a sexy Harry Potter meets Narnia.
And then you say, I can't get enough of it.
I do with a little bit of a headlock.
There we go.
At you.
So since we're at the end of the book, we all thought that Marvin was one of our favorite characters at the
Yes.
beginning. Is he still your favorite character now, or have you
mean,
switched?
I think with this kind of thing, and this can get quite dark quite quickly, that it's very refreshing in a book where everyone's just a little bit so all over the place and quite high energy and like that fast back and forth that we've heard that British people and Australians love to do, and then to have that really slowed down mopiness, which is kind of like, haha, that's different. Oh, you're sad. That's fun. And then it's just like, oh no, you're really sad, and that's what you've programmed to be, and that's going to be your existence. And it's like a bit of a downer. Now, the movie is very different to the book, where Marvin actually becomes a hero, and they use his depression to save the world from the snotballs, which I thought was very well done. But in the book,
In the book, he also becomes a
He
hero.
saves
does.
the
He
day
also
at the
becomes a
end,
hero.
yeah.
His depression causes a computer to want to commit suicide,
It's-
which I thought was the most brilliant thing, to have him be the character who saves the day. Otherwise, Arthur
Accidentally.
and Zaphod
well,
and...
but not improbably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well done. Well done. I really appreciate that. That was my favorite section of this last part of the book, was when they were fighting the cops. I thought
Oh
was
my
really
gosh,
fun.
I was hysterically
Really
laughing out loud.
Like really laughing. I want to
really laughing
read
hard.
this part real quick.
Oh, do you need a hand with it?
Yeah, you
What
want to help me
page?
out? I'm
Yeah.
on 206. Come on,
So
Maude.
excited.
Come on.
I'm so excited.
Help me out.
Yeah.
I'll do the narrator, and I'll do the good guys, and you do the cops.
Great.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Great.
From the top,
From the
206.
yeah, that sounds good. Go for it.
All right, so we'll set the scene up. Basically, they're on this planet. They're doing like a recon mission. They realize that they're surrounded by all sides. They've ducked behind this giant computer to try and not get shot by these cops. And they yell out, "We don't want to shoot you, Beeble Brox!"
Shouted the figure. Suits me fine, shouted Zaphod back, and dived down a wide gap between two data process units. The others swerved in behind him,
Do you want to be Trillion?
Oh, yeah. There are two of them.
said Trillian.
We're cornered.
They squeezed themselves down in an angle between a large computer databank and the wall. They held their breath and waited. Suddenly the air exploded with energy bolts as both the cops opened fire on them simultaneously. "Hey, they're shooting at us," said Arthur, crouching in a tight ball. "I thought they said they didn't want to do that." "Yeah, I thought they said that," agreed Ford. Zaphod stuck a head up for a dangerous moment. "Hey," he said, "I thought you said you didn't want to shoot us," and ducked again. They waited. After a moment, a voice replied,
It isn't easy being a cop.
"What did he say?" whispered Ford in astonishment. "He said it isn't easy being a cop." "Well, surely that's his problem, isn't it?" "I'd have thought so." Ford shouted out, "Hey, listen, I think we've got enough problems of our own having you shooting at us, so if you could avoid laying your problems on us as well, I think we'd all find it easier to cope." Another pause, and then the bullhorn again,
Now, see here, guy.
said the voice.
You're not dealing with any dumb, two-bit, trigger-pumping morons with low hairlines and little piggy eyes and no conversation. We're a couple of intelligent, caring guys that you'd probably quite like if you met us sociably. I don't go around gratuitously shooting people and then bragging about it afterwards in seedy Space Ranger bars like some cop I could mention. I go around shooting people gratuitously and then I agonize about it afterwards for hours to my girlfriend. And I write novels.
Chimed in the other cop.
Though I haven't had any of them published yet, so I better warn you, I'm in a mean mood.
How great is that? How great is that part? I love that part.
Amazing.
To just spend, I love it when stories spend too much time on henchmen characters. There was a great deleted scene in Austin Powers' International Man of
Best.
Mystery.
No, it was stayed in the movie.
It was
surely.
a deleted scene.
Was
where
it?
It was the played by Michael McDonald, the guy from Mad TV who's going, no! And then the steamroller rolls him over. What's that? Stuart, that's right. Stuart? There's a deleted
That
scene where
100% made the Australian cut.
Really?
100%.
I'm
That
sure,
was not a
I
deleted
bet,
scene.
I bet. Where it cut to his family.
Yes.
And a woman
the
picks
kid.
up the phone, ring, and it's like the Dr. Evil Corporation telling her that like her husband's dead, and it was played like
And
so
there's this
seriously.
kid with like freckles, and he's like, "You telling me Pop's not gonna come play ball with me?"
Oh my God, I love it so much.
I'm gonna go home and watch that.
I love it so
I
much.
love
It's on
Austin
the
Powers.
DVD and I think Blu-ray. It's a deleted scene, but it's like the moment in Iron Man 3 when Iron Man's like killing all these guys, and one guy's like,
Yeah.
"Dude, these
Yep.
guys are weird. I don't even like being here," and then he leaves. Like all the little henchmen moments
Yeah.
are my
Ooh.
favorite
'Cause
things
they're all
in
real
movies.
people. I want
is
that
the stunt
stunt.
choreographer for those movies. The guy,
Fantastic.
Mike Messina.
Mike Messina, there you
think is his
go.
name,
I
yeah.
had no idea that you knew his name. Wow.
My
This means
boyfriend designed a website. for him.
everything and it also means nothing. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Which is
Isn't
a
that great?
theme
Yeah.
of the
In
book.
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Oh, well
So
done.
I know we said that it ended a bit abruptly, but did you guys like this again and for the first time?
It was so refreshing. This is the first time I think I've read it. I've listened to it. I've seen it. Now I've read it. Really, really refreshing storytelling, and I really hope that Douglas Adams' writing does impact a lot of future budding writers
Yeah.
that kind of realize that there's not this monotonous and almost monotonal kind of way to write a book, that you can really think outside the box. You can use science, you can use extreme, you can use things that, like the TV show. Oh, I'm sorry, but we're mice with the TV show. We can't actually not have an answer. It's so outrageous that it's fun. So that's my thought.
I thought it was fantastic. I'd only seen the movie once, and then I rewatched the movie right before I started reading it, and I think that the writing is spectacular. I think Douglas Adams was brilliant and so funny. Just from everything that Maude said is 100% correct, and you're brilliant as always. But on the comedy side, I already know that Douglas Adams is hugely influential as a comedic writer and a performer and somebody who has contributed to the world of comedy, that I know that writers have been growing up reading his stuff and watching his stuff, which is fantastic. And I think actually just reading his, it's cool to see movies and different things inspired by his work, and it's cool to be a fan of Monty Python, which he was like kind of affiliated with, but to actually sit and read his words, you can see how he's so influential. You can see that the way he writes is not only very, very British, but also so damn funny, and I would hope that would inspire other comedy writing in every other respect too.
So more on that point, just really quickly, Clyde said that the scene with the cops shooting at them would be perfect with Simon Pegg and Nick Frost, and I think that this is really telling, really telling of British humour, where you're able to literally pick up and take part of Hot Fuzz and this chemistry and the duo that they've established there and slot it in here. So I think that's great.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Do we? Oh man, we've got a
We've got an
winner.
answer.
We've got a winner. Oh,
We're not even
man.
going to do like a quick
We
60
can't.
seconds.
We talked
Swing.
through. There was this what?
Swing by 1% down. It went from 60% to 59%.
For what?
Wow.
Dang it!
Okay,
I
so
mean,
doing
that's
it.
awesome.
1984.
That's awesome.
I've made the bet. I made the bet. I'm going to lie in
We're
it.
gonna
Look, Golden Compass went up.
there's
You stayed about 7%.
look,
I did
there is
tweet
a
about it.
There's a reason that this book sold out on Amazon.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
It's going to. It is terrifyingly prescient, but it's important to read these things. It's important to educate yourself. It's important to be aware of what's going on and what could happen. So your assignment is to read part 1 of 1984 for next week. And
How many chapters do you reckon part one's going to be?
Basically 3 books.
Oh.
Part one's like
so
the
book 1,
shortest.
yeah.
Yep.
So we'll probably break the second into 2 parts, and then the last will be the last chapter.
What he
Gotcha.
said.
Yes, and we got so many great recommendations today. I have one to throw in, which was something we voted for, but if you like Douglas Adams, you would love Terry Pratchett.
Yes, I've never read a Terry Pratchett.
Good
Not to
Omens
say
was
that
one
I've-
of ours before.
Yeah.
It's definitely going to make its way back on the list. So is Han Solo.
Great.
So is The Golden Compass.
I'd love to
This
read a
is
Neil
not the
Gaiman,
end.
but I haven't read Neil Gaiman prose. I've only read Neil Gaiman comics.
We could do so much Neil Gaiman. Oh, we could.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe we do Sandman.
We could do
And-
Sandman. We could do Neverwhere.
Can we not forget Wingardium? He's going to read
Yes,
Harry Potter.
Hector's never
never
Harry
read it.
Potter.
Magic. The books of magic.
Yes.
So
I'm
we
so
could
excited.
do so many things. So we have a huge list. It's like
high fantasy.
it's a ridiculous list, but we want more recommendations because it changes up every month. So make sure you're sending what you want to read to Nerdist, Geek and Sundry, join Team Alpha on Twitter, or to any of us.
I know you're about to sign off, so really quickly, Patch joined us late and said that his 3-year-old daughter tuned into our book read and was giggling hysterically, so I just wanted to
Oh
make
my
mention
God,
of that.
that's I might cry. That's really amazing.
Thank you,
so
Pat,
much.
yeah.
Thank you guys for joining us, especially to all of our YouTube subscribers on Nerdist who joined us for this month. If you guys liked the show, you can join us on Alpha, which is at projectalpha.com. Join us there. We're going to be reading 1984
Whoa,
next
look
month.
at that. Java Book Geek Girl says, just FYI, looks like 1984 is free to read on Kindle if you have an Amazon Prime
Wow.
account and if you have a
And
Kindle.
Ooh.
That's amazing. Guys, we're going to make it so much fun. We're going to get so drunk
Yeah.
talking
We're
about
going to get
1984.
so drunk. And
Come and
Plague
watch with
Wind,
us.
I'm going to volunteer American Gods for April because that's when the
Yes.
show premieres. So get ready, y'all. Thank you guys so much for joining us. I'm Rachel Heine.
My name's Maude Garrett.
I'm Hector Navarro.
Bye.
42. Oh, shit.